Oh, that was so good. I've always walked past this restaurant and never looked at it properly because I knew it was out of my price range, but lunch was definitely doable. Before, I didn't have anyone to go with, so I didn't see the point. Yeah, but doesn't it look a little sad to be eating by yourself? Or maybe that's just me. I mean, it's like going to the cinema on your own. I mean, sure, you can go for you, but it's more fun to talk about it after with someone else. With food, you appreciate it together or hate it together. And I don't know, I feel like it's a waste of money to go somewhere expensive for a bit without sharing it with someone else. I know it's supposed to be for you, and that should be enough, but I like it when someone's there with me. And if they're annoying a little, then it's still part of the experience. But how annoying depends on if the experience becomes bad or not. So if you were, I'd remind you that we just finished the first season of Sane Silence, and that I can easily watch it by myself when it comes back out. Exactly, so don't be annoying or I'll have to do it. I know, the cliffhanger? My god, I can't wait to watch the next one. I mean, I kinda saw it coming when Volwyn got captured because he was too prideful to say he couldn't defeat the Kolsar, but Merith being a descendant of the Lost Drusus blew my mind. I mean, I know they hinted at Merith being something different to the others because of what he noticed, but I didn't think it would have anything to do with the Irius plot. I mean, it's just so much, and I can't wait to get more into it. The internet's been blowing up about it. There's so many theories going around, and not gonna lie, a couple of days ago I went down a rabbit hole and didn't go to sleep until like 5 in the morning. That's why I sounded so tired when you called me. I think with the amount of popularity the show's getting, a lot of people are gonna cosplay the main characters at the expo. Well, actually, I was gonna ask you if you wanted to go this year. Yeah, I mean, it's far enough away for us to plan, and we could go as Merith and Volwyn. Their cosplays are simple enough without breaking the bank, and I think it would be fun for you to experience your first con with something new and popular. We'll make a day of it if you want. We could go early, take some pictures, and then have a look around inside. They have so many stalls with artists and voice actors, and they always do like a cosplay competition as well. But I think you have to book separate tickets for that. It's massive, and it's really nice seeing everyone embrace their nerdiness. They don't care. Outside, actually even inside, there are people dancing to J-pop and acting out scenes and stuff, and it's just so not validating, but you'll feel at home. I did when I went. Well, it could be a date, though we don't have to label it really. I'll go as Merith because I've got the hair, and out of all the characters, I think I look like him the most. Which makes you Volwyn. Oh, for sure they're gonna get shipped together. I've already seen artwork with them, and the other day someone wanted to commission me to do some Saint Silence characters, so I wouldn't be surprised if they asked for a ship. Do you want to sit down here? I don't know, I'm excited to go because I know that the LGBTQ plus community is really welcome there. Like, I remember when I went the last time, couples of all genders were holding hands and showing skinship and stuff. And there were rainbows everywhere, people wore badges. There was like a drag queen dance off, and it was amazing. And everyone else, they're mostly allies, so it's generally a safe place. But I don't know if I'll be able to show that kind of skinship out in public, you know? And when couples go to these things and you can tell they're cosplaying together, Sometimes the crowd asks if they can kiss or do some type of pose for the camera, and there's no way I'm there yet. It's not about the comfort of it, because I know I won't get judged. It's more the anxiety of us being followed or targeted after. And I know that it's all in my head, but even if I try to tell myself that I'm surrounded by people who don't care or will protect me if something did happen, I can't risk it. From what I remember, everyone at the convention was so kind. The people were inclusive, the merch was inclusive. It was like a fantasy land, almost. I couldn't really believe it at first, and I was so surprised that women were kissing each other openly just as much as men were, and I wish I could have their courage of being themselves. I've felt like that since I knew I liked guys, to be honest. Yeah, the same goes with us. I'm probably more scared about that than doing it at the convention. Or maybe it's around the same. I don't know. That anxiety blurs into one sometimes. I mean, seeing what happens to people like me, or us, in my eyes, I just see hatred for no reason. I know that gay relationships can happen, and it can be happy, and nothing really could go wrong outside of some idiots voicing their opinion or something, right? For the most part, we can exist together. But it's the other part I'm afraid of. The part where, if I show in my childhood town that I like men, then all of a sudden people's thoughts of me change. And it's not like I care if they view me differently, it's what negative stereotypes come with it, and what that could grow into. Like, I know someone who I follow online. He went to a club one night and he flirted with a guy. And the guy was into him, so it was fine. But then he went home alone and he was jumped by a bunch of guys who followed him from the club. And they beat him so much that he had to go to the hospital. And it's just, the fact that it happens everywhere always makes me think that one day, the moment I show who I am, that'll be it. I don't know what's worse, being harassed by people who know me or by people who don't. Because that means the only reason someone has to be physical is because of who I love, and that has nothing to do with them. They hate it so much that they would beat up a stranger for it. And I'm not the strongest person, you know? I'd like to hold my own, but I couldn't do it back then, and I still can't do it now. You'd protect me. How valiant of you. I'm proud of who I am and who I love, but at the same time, I fear to be open about it. I used to be ashamed, years ago when fear ruled everything for me. But it's lessening now, slowly. And still, when I hear stories like that, it gives me one more reason to hide. Well, being in the closet isn't really about hiding who you are, it's a barrier to protect yourself from what's outside of it. Even I used it like that. I opened the door a little, but I shut it again after what happened in high school. It's strange how I'm opening it again for the same person. The world works in mysterious ways sometimes. Honestly, I want to be open. I want to show someone that I like him out in public like other couples do. And they don't get looked at or mistreated. It's a dream, I know. And I need to come to terms with the fact that the world is also a dangerous place. I understand. I get it. I can't live like this forever. No one can. It's like I'm not living at all if I'm not true to myself. But I am true. I know who I am. It's just some people don't like who I am. Yes, I don't care, but can I trade that for my safety? That's all I think about. I think high school is the main cause of it, yeah. It's behind me, but it still follows me, no matter what I do, and I don't want it to dictate the decisions I make. I mean, it already has, but like you said, I can't live like this forever. And I don't want to. When you came back, it hit me like a tidal wave. I got caught so off guard that it all just overwhelmed me. Because I think I was suppressing it after all that time, and because I wasn't dealing with it, it became something that controlled me. And now, I've had to face it. I've had to break it down and really think about how I want to live the rest of my life. Every time I found myself attracted to a man, I would immediately try and stop it from getting worse. And that's the thing, I used to think about me liking someone being negative, like it was wrong of me to do it, just because I knew what would happen if people found out. Or, I didn't know, really, it was the paranoia of what can happen, right? And then, with what happened with Danny, I'm still pissed at you about that, by the way. But with Danny, I had no choice but to directly look at my past. And at that point, I was done running. I knew if I did, I would disappoint myself, because standing there, I had a chance to say my piece. Something that I dreamt of doing, but could never actually do it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was cathartic, in a way. Knowing Danny was sorry about it, and the reflecting made him a better person is a little relieving, but in that moment, I was proud of myself for finally being able to say what I wanted. Thanks. I didn't think I had it in me, but I felt good after. Confident. Yes, confident enough to tell you to kiss me. Like, I know what was going through your head. And all this time, ever since you've been back, you've tried your hardest to make amends. I believe people can change. I do. They shouldn't always be forgiven for their pasts, but that's up to the person who has the forgiveness to share. Danny messed me up in all sorts of ways. So, in my heart, I can't. And you messed me up in other kinds of ways. Good and bad, depending on the time. You know, I'm still confused why you're so focused on me. Well, you said you liked me in high school, then all that shit happened. We went different ways, you went to uni. Out of the city too. You must have met so many other people. Men who were openly gay, men who didn't care who they dated. And not one of them interested you. Really? Through a dating app? How did it go? That's good at least. I've heard that you can find a lot of friendships through the apps if there's no chemistry. I've felt it with only a few people. Probably 3 at the most. But one of them was straight and the other was taken, so not much I could do there. What about you? Don't you dare say it's only been me. Oh my god, you are shameless! Well, it might be true for you, but it's still embarrassing for me. What'd you have? What is this? Ah, so it's your turn for embarrassment, huh? I am all for that. Let's see then. Oh, is it something delicate? Sorry, I'll be gentle. Did you handwrite me a letter? Oh, what's this at the back? Oh, okay, I'll look at it last. Can I read it? Okay. Dear Neil. Oh my god, what am I getting myself into? Right. Dear Neil. There comes a moment in life when you realize you've met someone truly special, and I have never met someone like you. Even through your hardships, and I know I've been fortunate to be told a few, you are still nice, understanding, and unconditionally good. Well, thank you. You were my light in high school, and without it, I strayed further than I'd like to admit. And knowing that I was a direct cause to hurting you so deeply eats me up inside. So I want to admit it all here. I admit that I regret what I did the moment it happened. I admit that I wanted to make things right as soon as school ended, but was too afraid to. I admit that being afraid was a stupid reason not to try earlier. I admit that all these years, I only thought about you. I never stopped because you were the first person to see me. And in that time, in our classes we shared together, they were the happiest moments of my life. Now I have new memories that I will cherish just as much. Like seeing your eyes light up when you look at paintings, seeing how much you've improved with your passion. You deserve so much more than what the world has given you, and my only wish is to see you happy and fulfilled, because you have given that to me. I realized later than I should have, but I hope this shows that I mean every word I've written. Can I look at the other paper now? This is... Yeah, I remember drawing this. 17th of May. Yeah, this was when we were allowed back on the field. You wanted to sleep underneath the tree, so you told me to try drawing you. This was the first time I tried an actual portrait. It came out terrible. I mean, look at my signature too. You kept it all this time. Yeah, I can tell. It looks like I did it a couple of weeks ago, let alone a decade ago. You must have really looked after it. No. I'll take the letter, you take the drawing. I know it's in good hands. I honestly don't know what to say. I should have known something was up, but I can't tell with you. No, it's not bad. I just... Somehow you always find a way to make me feel like this. Without words. I mean, I'm not much for words in the first place, but most of the time I can reply with something. This time, I'm at a loss. The letter wasn't cringy, it was sincere. You have a knack for writing, I can tell. Probably those years at uni, huh? All that business management. Yeah, I bet you learn a thing or two. But really, thank you. For admitting all of that, even if you couldn't say it aloud. You had the courage to, so now I want to. Admit some things. I feel like there's some things you need to know that I haven't told you. Like, when you came back and wanted to make things right, I didn't want to. Somehow I felt like I would be ignoring what happened before and making you think it was okay to do it if I let you back into my life. But I want to admit that I'm thankful that you came back. Because if you hadn't, then I'd still be crippled by it. I'd still feel betrayed and unwilling to open up and see the other side of a story. I'd probably be in my room right now or working a shift, going about my life, hiding where I feel safe the most, doing the same things over and over again. And that's not to say I don't like routine, but I admit that since we started hanging out, I look forward to the day more. When I realized that you were serious in wanting to make things better, I started to see you in a different light. It was always what you were like in high school, but now I see a soon-to-be CEO who's a chef and a nerd. Yes, and a hopeless romantic. I want to admit that you've helped me be more open with who I like and how I feel about it, how I feel about you. We've become close again, like we were before, and I never forgot how I felt when I finally found someone who understood me. It's irreplaceable, that feeling. But because I was skeptical about you, I started looking at you closely. You know how you talked, how you acted, if there were any red flags that were waving in my face. But all I noticed was that you look at me the same way you did back then. Of course I remember. You were the first boy I ever confessed to, properly. I admit that I like you. We already had that kind of connection, and it's been buried, but it's slowly returning, so I know I have it in my heart to trust you again. I want to. I really do. I'm saying that I'm willing to give you a chance. One more chance. The past is the past, and I know I can't escape the damage it's done, alright? I understand that it hurt us both, and we suffered alone in more ways than one. But I think I can finally begin to let go and embrace who I am more openly. Little shows of skinship, maybe. I want to build that confidence more. I want to be able to kiss a man and not think about someone watching and waiting around the corner who'll harm me. And I know it's going to take a while. A long time, really, but I know you'll wait. You've been so accommodating to me. Excluding the thing with Danny, but yes, I'm gonna keep bringing that up. Maybe time will heal that wound. I don't know. It's weird to see him as an adult with a kid. But it could be a good thing that I saw him how he is now. You know, going back into his past to apologize to someone he hurt because his perspective on life has changed. It's honestly hard to do that now that I think about it. And now his kid will grow up with a more open mind, which is... it's good. Seeing the positives is how I try to get through life. And I want to try doing more. Now? What do you mean? Holding hands. Here, in the park. Two guys sitting this close to each other is already a bit suspicious. I mean, it could look like we're watching something. Okay, you can reach into my pocket. Your hand is really warm. Were you nervous when you gave me the letter? Nothing. I just... it's weird. Seeing your face. You look like you're about to split it open, you're smiling so wide. I know, I haven't been able to do this before. It's a bit... I feel like I shouldn't be... I do like holding your hand. Yeah, just staring at the blank phone, pretending to watch something. No, you don't have to. I like it like this. Yeah. Let's just sit like this for a while.